Welcome to Local Doctors on Call. I'm Grant Boxleitner. Our topic is diet and weight loss, and I'm joined by a couple of guests today, Dr. Sean Stringer and Dr. Phil Nikeo. Welcome, gentlemen. And before we get into this very fascinating topic, I'd like both of you to just give us a little background and where you're coming from.
Well, I'm a chiropractor by training. About 8 years ago, I lost my first wife to colorectal cancer. And so about 5 years ago, I decided I was going to change professions and go in what's called functional medicine, which is finding and fixing why somebody has an illness and disease so they get better.
And where are you working?
I own the Body Mind Wellness Center and also Nutrimost Sarasota, which is just north of the hospital off of US 41 in Bay Vista.
Excellent. All right. And you?
And my name is Dr. Philip Nikeo. My background initially years ago was in the personal development and life coaching industry. I love personal development, so of course I went back to school, and as a doctor of psychology now, my focus is in the practical aspects of what causes us to overcome bad habits and adopt good habits in a really practical way, taking what most people would assume is complicated theory and make it a practical sense. And now I work with Dr. Stringer after he helped me lose about 47, 50 fat pounds now.
Congratulations.
I'm thrilled, and it was like the missing piece in the puzzle. So earlier this year, we joined forces and began to work together with the Nutrimost program with weight loss. And he focuses in a dynamic way on physical health, and then I'm able to come in and focus on the ways of thinking and habits that will accomplish the end result of longevity.
Yes, and you both are kind of teaming up with clients. That's great. All right, so let's get into this. When would be the best time to start a weight loss program? We always hear that maybe New Year's is a good time for a resolution, perhaps, but what do you gentlemen think?
There's one day, today. Today is the best day to start.
Yeah,
never just wait. Hands that don't wait. There's you'll always find excuses to keep on pushing it back and pushing it back.
Right.
No time better than now to get started.
So get started right now, even if no matter if you're 100 pounds overweight or 50 or 10?
It doesn't matter. Just get started now. Just make the commitment and get started.
And especially with coming up to New Year's, of course, we're all familiar with New Year's resolutions, and we also know how many of those resolutions actually stick.
Yes,
right?
They can be difficult to keep after about 2 weeks.
Totally, and one of the reasons that goals actually never end up coming to fruition is because they're really just wishes that start with a good intention. So one of the things that having, like with Nutrimost Sarasota, is having an actual thought out plan laid out for you with a team in place, so that by the time New Year's comes, if I were to start today, if my track record on how I lost weight, if I were to start today, by New Year's, I would already be down 30 pounds. So I'd be like having the head start above in front of everyone else. And on top of that, the reward system works for all of us. So when you see the progress, you're just that much more excited to start integrating new ideas and new plans and new goals by the time New Year's comes.
So do these plans work kind of on a basis where you're writing out day by day food? This is my plan. This is what I'm going to eat that day?
Well, part of it, we give people a list of what they need, what proteins, what fruits, what vegetables that their body prefers for fat burning. Okay. So everybody is on a customized, personalized plan as it relates to that. They can choose which foods they want from their list. So it's not like you're pre-stuck to somebody else's meal plan.
Right.
We kind of just give you the guidelines as it relates to that, but we tell you which ones your body actually prefers in order to lose weight.
Yeah, so like a good list over here, and just keep that in mind as you're going through the plan.
Correct.
Good stuff. All right, so if someone gains their weight back on other weight loss programs, why does that happen?
Well, it's not a one-size-fits-all. That's generally what these are, and a lot of the programs out there don't address hormones and neurotransmitters and their vitamin mineral balance and their organs and tissues that are off. I
typically don't hear any of that when we're talking about diet and weight loss.
Nobody does that, and those are the things that are throwing our weight off. And so everybody's an individual, and everybody needs to be on their own customized, personalized program. And until you find out which of the 2,800 plus factors are off with your weight loss, there's no way to know what's the ideal plan for you. So that's what we do. Is I sort through which of the 2,800 physical factors that are throwing you off, find which things that we need to tweak to get you personally on a program for you.
And that all starts with a battery of tests, I assume, to figure out where your base level is?
One test, and it takes about 15 minutes to do.
One test. Wow.
It's really simple. It's non-invasive, and you don't even feel it.
All right, Dr. Nikeo, you want to?
Well, that was the most empowering thing about
Right.
what Dr. Stringer does that actually totally rocked my world.
Because you went through it.
I did. I went through it. I'm still reaping the benefits of
Yeah.
that. My metabolic age, for example, is 10 years younger than I am. We'll just put it that way so I don't tell everyone how old I am. But it feels amazing because of one big factor from a psychological perspective is the empowerment of knowledge about myself.
Yes.
It's not just some doctor saying, here, take this pill, take this magic bullet, take this, and then hopefully you'll have some results. You're literally working with Dr. Stringer and his team,
Right.
or with myself, to find out why my body is doing what it's doing. Why are my hormones out of whack? Why am I storing toxins? Why am I not able to burn fat? When those things begin to happen, and you yourself have a knowledge of your own body, that's the empowering factor as well.
Yeah, it really gives you confidence to keep going, right?
Absolutely. So you not only have the training wheels, but you have information for yourself.
Yes.
But here's the most beautiful part. Like
Sure.
half the program is just losing the weight. The second half of the program, which I think is the most beautiful part of it, is we're training you and helping you, empowering you to keep it off. And we're holding you as a team.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, you can lose weight short term with a lot of these programs, and people talk about it, but then
Right.
they always talk about, I can't keep it off, or it comes back after a year or two.
Yeah, that's the second half of our program. That's why we have a 95% success rate at 3 years out, because we teach you how to maintain that, how to add things in, how to live life normally again without having to have those pitfalls or things bring you back to where you were before or
Yeah.
worse.
And when he says 95% success rate, I try to bring clarity to that, because what I heard coming from non-health background, physical health, is what I heard when I heard that is that 95% of the people lose weight on his program. And that's not actually what he said. If you heard what he said, is 95% success rate of people after the program, after they lose the weight, keeping it off now for a period of 3 years.
Right.
So that to me was the most mind-blowing part. Not only do I know myself, we shred the weight. Yes, of course, there's lots of programs who can get you to shed
Yes.
the weight, whether it's through healthy means or unhealthy means. But to be able to be now healthy and keep that fat off, what I experienced was increasing my calories, because my metabolism is rocking, my hormones are in balance, everything is
Yeah.
working now. So my calories began to increase, and it scared me at first. I was like, no, I don't want to gain all this weight
So
back.
you were basically wanting to eat more calories?
Well, I was scared because I didn't want to gain my weight back, because during the fat burn phase,
Right.
of course, your body's not hungry, you're eating your own fat storage. So I didn't need to eat a lot. But then he was like, now we're going to increase your metabolism. And I was like, whoa, or increase my calorie intake.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, no, I don't want to gain all this weight back. So the beautiful empowering thing was not only increasing my calories, keeping the weight off, but now we're even added, in the last phase of the program, he even had me add some carbs, add a few things that we would call junk food, because I've learned a new lifestyle. And of
Yes.
course, I'm all about learning new lifestyles. Every 21 days produces a habit. So now I'm nearly 4 cycles of 21 days into it, of eating well. And now when I'm adding the junkier food, if you will,
Right.
on moderation, and finding out that my body still burns it off and I still maintain my weight loss goal where I was,
Right.
that is absolutely mind-blowing, because we always think in terms of restricted diet and hardcore exercise is the only way to take your weight off and keep it off. And people are scared to start a new weight loss program. Number one reason people don't make the resolutions anymore is because of how many times they failed.
It's happened before.
How
and
many
they
times
don't
they've
see
gained
those-
it back. Right. You lose the weight, you gain it back. You lose the weight, you gain it back. And finally, nobody supports you anymore. And you have friends and family telling you, oh, you're on something else again. And the empowering thing now, since for months staying at the same weight, and everyone goes, look at you. You're not the weird guy in the room. You're not just picking at carrots, but you're still maintaining your weight loss.
Yes, you're able to eat all that, and we should mention that initially in this program, Dr. Stringer, this is correct, you don't really focus on the workouts and the exercise, maybe not even at all through parts of these programs.
No, I actually tell people during the program, I want you to cut back. If you're doing too much, I tell you to cut back. But I only require somebody in the second half of the program 4 minutes 3 times a week, 12 minutes of exercise. If done right, will burn more fat than getting on 2 hours on the treadmill.
Yes, and great information, and we are going to have much more coming up on Local Doctors on Call right after this.
I'm Tracy, and so far I have lost 43 pounds.
My name is Philip Nikeo, and I've lost 27 pounds in 22 days so far in the Nutrimost program.
Hi, I'm Pam. I've lost 17.6 pounds on Nutrimost.
Hi, my name is Mike Saxton. I've lost about 78 pounds using the Nutrimost system.
Hi, I'm Teresa, and I lost 20 pounds.
My name is Dr. Sean Stringer, Nutrimost Sarasota, and I invite you to be our next success story. Lose 20 to 40 pounds in the next 40 days. Call the number on your screen.
Welcome back to Local Doctors on Call. I'm Grant Boxleitner, and we're joined by Dr. Stringer and Dr. Nikeo. Welcome back, gentlemen. So we've been talking about weight loss programs, and the one thing I want to get into when we're talking about food is lots of people talk about cravings, and there's a myriad of them, I'm sure. Why do people get these cravings?
A lot of times they're addictive because of the hormones and really the neurotransmitters that are released in the brain. Like there was a study that was done earlier this year, had to do with sugar, and saying that it was more addictive than heroin.
Jeez.
And so I think it was like 3 times as addictive as heroin was. So just know that you know your chemistry, your brain's playing a big role of this. Once you're on and eating correctly and you're on a good lifestyle kind of program, then your body starts craving the good things again. It'll stop craving those bad things for you because you just won't have that taste for it. You'll get pleasure off of something else.
Yes, and Dr. Nikeo.
Well, one of the things about food addictions and food cravings is very physical, but it's also very mental. And when I say mental is, you know, if we stop to think about it, our brain is our greatest personal assistant. It's stronger than any of the supercomputers in the world, and it is programmable. How is it programmed? It's programmed by habit, right? So everything that we have done already have told it what we want.
Right.
Now, we don't even know that or don't think about it half the time. Most of the time, most of us don't think about the fact that we're programming our supercomputer to give us thoughts, feelings, and emotions to repeat what we have done over and over. But that's really what's happening. So when it comes to food, if we stop and think about it, our relationship to food, our brain slots it in the same way as it does relationships to people. So when you come home from work, that one thing that you're in the habit of always going after, first you create the physical high that you receive from that sugar or the alcohol or whatever it is, right? That you normally your comfort food that you're used to eating. But then you create a relationship with that now. So everything becomes habit forming in that your thoughts, feelings, and emotions from your brain are being released to guide you, as it were, to repeat what you have told it you want to do. So then when you go to change a habit, what happens? It's still, as your number one personal assistant, going, but you told me this is what you want. And so the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions that guide you for the purpose of repeating what you've already done begin to rise up. And we identify ourselves with our brain. And so we say, well, I want. We never tend to stop and go, my brain is telling me I want, which is actually the factual scientific fact that our brain is simply telling us we want it. So if we go through the effort of making slight changes one day at a time,
Teaching your brain in a way then?
You're literally
to not
reprogramming.
Want those
you're literally
habits
reprogramming, because most people never realize that it's possible to live life without the battle. Right? The battle of I want this, but I should only eat this. I want this, but I should only eat this. And we don't realize that every time we cheat, quote unquote cheat, every time we do that, we're telling our brain that we're going to cheat now every 5 days, or we're going to cheat every 2 days, or whatever the case. Right? Or it's okay. We have our excuses because we defend ourselves in the most beautiful ways. But the truth of the matter is, if we could ever, as human beings, simply make the hard choices for just 21 days, even. And make those steps day by day, the small steps day by day. We wouldn't believe it once we discovered that the very same thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are fighting us, we think they're fighting us, will actually come to our aid now. Especially this is why I love
So you use it as your advantage then?
Absolutely. Because in this program, we're literally, with what Dr. Stringer's put together, you're literally, think about it, you're bringing your hormones into balance, you're detoxing naturally, you're increasing muscle mass, you're increasing hydration. Just from those aspects alone, you have clarity of thought, you're feeling energy, you're feeling good, your metabolism's running hot, right? So when you're using all those things happening, now you're already ahead of the game. So now it's a good time to say, I'm making progress. Let me remember that the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are coming to me about the food I don't want to eat, about the cravings, Let me remember that's my brain trying to guide me in the path I told it to go. So now I'm going to have to be the master of my life and just make these tougher choices for a consecutive 21-day period or 40-day period. When I do that, now it's going to start saying, oh, I want that salad. I want that healthy food. It just feels so good to get live, good, organic food into my system. Like, we begin to miss that. I'm living proof of that. I literally begin to miss the foods that my body now wants. And so now it's working for me. But we never really stop to think about the psychological side. So that's one of the powerhouse reasons that we do work together.
Yes.
Is to bring both of those aspects happening together.
And so, Dr. Stringer, are there some foods, I mean, we talked about sugar, but are there other ones? I mean, a lot of people, may crave that McDonald's burger, for instance.
Yeah, once you start making these changes and the hormones, the neurotransmitters start getting back in balance, those cravings just seem to disappear. Plus, we give you a little psychological tips, things that you can do to for that time period,
Right.
like as you're getting through it. But usually in a few days, they're gone. You won't have those anymore when you're going through
I
it.
crave pizza at times. Is there a way that is that incorporated in, like maybe an organic veggie pizza?
I don't know. I think pizza's like 10 times more addictive than heroin.
You're not alone.
Bacon.
Me
And
too.
bacon. You gotta get bacon in there.
Bacon,
No,
yes.
but those are things. Yeah, a lot of people. We've had actually alcoholics come into our program and just stop cold turkey. As they started on the program, they just didn't have the cravings to drink the alcohol anymore. And it's just that we're getting things back into balance.
Brain is busy focusing on other things.
Oh yeah, they don't have the need, they don't have the desire anymore. So those things go away, and they seem to go away really naturally.
Yeah. So if you're on a diet, we'll get into this. I've heard a lot about eating low fat or eating low carb. Is there a better way or neither?
Okay, let me get into this. One can take a little time, but I'll try to keep it short. Low fat is no good. Okay, we have to have fats. Our body metabolizes fats. It uses them as a secondary energy source.
65 grams a day was kind of the baseline years ago. I don't know if it's...
Everybody's kind of different
Okay.
where they should be, but we should be eating more fats than we should be eating carbs. Now, when I say carbs, I'm not counting fruits and vegetables. I'm talking like the things that are made with white stuff, like
Right.
sugars and flours and anything that's processed. Those things we need to eliminate from our diet as much as possible.
Because this misconception is that fat, if you eat fat, then it gets on your body and it becomes fat.
No,
But that's
actu-
not true.
No, it's actually the sugar. It's actually the sugar and the carbs that actually get converted into fat. Fat itself doesn't really get converted into fat. It replaces some fat in our cells, but it's not packed on as fat in the body at all. And the end byproduct of fat metabolism is actually exhaling, is carbon dioxide. So you just need to really, in order to burn fat, just need to be breathing.
Be regular breathing going throughout your day. Wow.
And so many times we get one part right, but then there's 5 other parts that are sabotaging
Right.
the thing that we're working on. And that's one of the reasons why it's important for total transformation to really be educated about your body, to understand what you can eat, and also the way you think and how you process stress and ways to process. All those different aspects are going to bring it all into place to where truly when you're in that health zone, like he said, if you're breathing, you can burn fat.
And we talked about low fat, but what about this low carb? We hear a lot about that.
I'm all for low carb, long as you're not substituting it with some of those artificial sweeteners.
Okay.
Because we talked about that in our
We
last
did.
show. A lot of those are
Splenda, the
cancer forming.
aspartame, yeah.
They're cancer forming, or they're cousins of like DDT or stuff like that. They're just bad for the body.
Right. And you had even mentioned you'd rather see someone eat sugar in the raw than,
Oh, yeah,
than
by
an
far.
artificial sweetener.
By far.
Okay.
And
Dr.
after a
Nikhil.
while, from my own experience, the process of coming off of carbs was my most challenging deal. Pizza, like, come
Right.
on. Pizza would literally, like, I tried to tell him, it would literally crawl up my chest and into my mouth on its own.
Yes.
Like, I never, ever did it on purpose. But no, that was my biggest challenge. But understanding that the carbs then turn to sugar, and because I understand that we slot everything as pleasure and pain.
Right.
So my association with pizza and with bread and all those carbs type highs
Yes.
were literally my pleasure zones were always salved, and it became the friend that sticks closer than a brother. It was dependable. So subconsciously, we could depend on
Yes.
that little high we get, the comfort we get. We could depend on the fact that we're probably going to get sleepy 30 minutes later from the sugar drop.
Yeah.
But the truth is, that was my hardest battle. And to adjust, I didn't fight the battle. I simply focused on making the changes that were now customized, appropriate for my body. With the scan Dr. Stringer talked about,
Right.
it was so cool to be able to say, my body wants this food, and this food. And when I gave it what it wanted, the pleasure of that superseded the previous pleasure I had from the carbs.
So you were able to really get into that. We're going to get into much more in a moment, gentlemen. It's a good show, and we're going to have more local doctors on call right after this.
Live, eat, play, and shop local.
I'm Dr. Sean Stringer, and we want to help you lose 20 to 40 pounds in 40 days. We are Nutrimost Sarasota, and we are proud to be local.
Join the Suncoast News Network in supporting our great local businesses around the Suncoast.
I'm Tracy, and so far I have lost 43 pounds.
My name is Philip Nikeo, and I've lost 27 pounds in 22 days so far in the Nutrimost program.
Hi, I'm Pam. I've lost 17.6 pounds on Nutrimost.
Hi, my name is Mike Saxton. I've lost about 78 pounds using the Nutrimost system.
Hi, I'm Teresa, and I lost 20 pounds.
My name is Dr. Sean Stringer, Nutrimost Sarasota, and I invite you to be our next success story. Lose 20 to 40 pounds in the next 40 days. Call the number on your screen.
Welcome back to Local Doctors on Call. I'm Grant Boxleitner, and we're joined by Dr. Stringer and Dr. Nikeo, and we've been having a fascinating conversation about diet and weight loss. And where we left it before the break, we were talking about low carbs. Is there a difference? We hear a lot about good carbs, bad carbs. I think we should give the audience a little bit of a lesson here.
Again, good carbs, your fruits and vegetables. Okay, bad carbs, anything made with that's pretty much processed. So all the middle aisles of the grocery store.
Even pastas?
Pastas, yeah, even pastas, most grains, because they've been processed, they've been broken down. They turn into sugars quickly, which spike your blood sugar up. Your body has a spike in insulin. What it does with that insulin stores extra sugar if it can't convert it into what's called glycogen, our storage kind of sugar.
Stores, right.
Then what it does is it stores it in fat. And so that's why we don't want to spike that blood sugar up. We want to keep it regulated nice and low. So the more fruits and vegetables we eat, especially vegetables, the better we are as we relate to that. So stick to the outside of the grocery store when shopping, because those are your most of your live, full,
Yes.
Food out there, or go to a farmer's market. Support the local economy.
Yes, a lot of local growers. Is that what you do, Dr.
Yeah,
Nikeo?
that one statement, he made that earlier this year when I was talking to him, and he said, shop the outside of the outside aisles of the supermarket, and I began to do that. And of course, as my transition began to happen physically, I began to want those things and really enjoy really good organic vegetables as well. So I began to go to the farmer's market. That's always a blast. Now I have friends there. But that's the interesting thing about the transition. I just want to throw this in there real quick about losing weight and keeping weight off is not just about you, but you begin to establish a lifestyle of feeling like a winner, of being a master over your own life, of feeling like there's something that it matters to me the most, which is my body, that is not running off doing its own thing anymore. And that's an extremely empowering feeling, to be able to be in charge of my health, to feel like there's things that I know I can do, that I can eat, that I can enjoy, that make me feel good. With the increase of energy and sleeping better and libido's up and all of those aspects, like you just end up wanting to go to the farmer's market. And my point was, with the farmer's market, you begin to meet people, and you begin to meet other people, and you begin to get a newer or bigger circle of friends that share the same vision, the same passion. And so you find out that it's not just a bunch of crazies out there doing nutrition. This is where I was. All the nutrition people were crazy. I wanted to eat my pasta and my Italian food, my Greek food, and I wanted to eat all that. And so now I'm finding out there's a way to do some of that in moderation and still feel feel good and enjoy the aspects of the farmer's market.
And it's empowering when you have people doing it with you, I'm assuming.
Yes.
One part of the grocery store on the perimeter I want you to stay away from.
Right.
The bakery and the ice cream section, because those usually make it on the outside.
They sometimes make it outside. You're exactly right. Good information. Another aspect here, diet drinks. A lot of people think they can just maybe substitute a meal for a drink. Are diet drinks okay?
They're horrible. They're horrible. The largest study on diet drinks just came out, I want to say in the last couple weeks.
Okay.
Over 60,000 people in the study showed that it increased stroke, heart attack, just across the board. Disease processes were through the roof 2 to 3 times of the normal population, ones that didn't drink diet sodas. So definitely stay away from diet sodas.
So no diet drinks, that runs the gamut. Colas, even, what about some of these energy drinks that may have no artificial sweeteners in them?
There's not many out there that I've seen that don't have an artificial sweetener attached to them, but they're so high in sugar. They like some of them. They're higher in sugar than orange juice, which is about, I think, 17 teaspoons of sugar in a glass of orange juice, and then you got soda that might be 30, 31.
Man, I've heard that you should don't drink your calories. Is that a good lesson to live by?
Well, there's different calories. You have empty calories, which are your processed foods, and then you have your good calories, which are essentially what you're getting from your whole foods. So your vegetables, your proteins, your good fats,
Right.
Things like that you're getting those. Their body processes them different. So a calorie is not quite a calorie. It just depends on how it was processed.
I see. All right, so let's get into working out a little bit. People talk about doing an hour of cardio several times a week, and you still don't lose weight. What is going on there?
They're doing the one thing is they're burning the sugar, they're burning those glycogen stores, and what your body does is you crave that food. And the first thing you do is you put it on, but then you usually have an excess of sugar. So what you do is store it as fat. The big thing is if you ever you watch the Olympics and you watch the sprinters,
Right.
those people have amazing bodies.
Yeah.
And what they do is they probably exercise maybe 4 or 5 minutes a day because they're doing really high intense exercise for a very short burst of time.
Yes.
And so that's what I ask our clients to do is these high intensity interval training. They do 4 minutes 3 times a week. You do that, what happens is you burn through some of your glycogen stores, but your body doesn't, not so much that you have to replenish it right away. Your body wants to gradually build up to it again. So what it does is it taps into your fat stores. So when you do this, you're actually tapping into your fat stores for 24 to 48 hours to replenish that energy. And so you'll burn fat while replenishing your energy stores.
Just amazing. And so you don't have to work out, but I've also often heard that if you burn more calories than you're taking in, inevitably you're going to lose weight, but not necessarily.
No, because you could be processing that and been packing on pounds. So you might get leaner, but you might be a fatter, skinnier person because you're packing on more fat, but you're losing muscle mass because you have to replenish those sugar stores quickly, and that's what your body will tap into. It will tap in muscle before it'll go to fat, because fat's a much larger process to go through. It requires much more energy, and your body's going to go for the most efficient way. So it'll go into burning muscle rather than burning fat.
All right, gentlemen, we are almost out of time, but this has been a fascinating conversation. For folks out there listening and watching, where can they go to get more information about these topics?
Ask any question you want to us at AskDrStringer.com. That's AskDrStringer.com.
Okay.
Or you can go visit us at NutriMostSarasota.com.
All right, and gentlemen, thank you, Dr. Nikeo, Dr. Stringer. Great conversation.
It's been a pleasure.
And
Yeah, thank you.
we will talk to you soon. And that is going to do it for this edition of Local Doctors on Call. We'll see you next time.